Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday and Patriot Day, and um, let's see what else is it. It's 57 or 56 degrees here and raining, and so it's an actual autumn feeling day. And I think I'm seeing leaves here and there starting to turn. Not like a bunch in my trees, but a few. Anyway. Makes me happy for that. Today is an open collab, and it is hashtag What's Up Wednesday at Tijo Creates. That's Tijo. I don't think I wrote that clearly enough. Tijo Creates. An open collaboration, and everyone's invited. If you're seeing this if you're seeing this, whatever you call it, vlog, I don't know, then, and you want to do something, do it. Get in on this. Just be sure to put this in your title or your description so that our hostess knows that you did it, and it'll work out better that way. She has a clue who's doing it, and she can say hi. Babble, babble. So every time I start to do something today, I get sidetracked, and I'm feeling jumbled in my mind and jumbled in my thoughts, and so I might just I've also got a little bit of a cough, like chesty. I don't feel bad, I don't hurt anywhere. It's just a chesty cough, and it started when we had that smoke, and it hasn't cleared up. That fire smoke and the heat when the smoke came from the fires far away. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start, and my open collab today is just going to be whatever I get into. And I'm going to start with, I want to show you this tablecloth. I changed tablecloths, and this is one of my favorites, and I'll go through it and show it all to you, but it's busy. This is along the edge that hangs down. And then on the part that's actually on the table, it's just kind of a quilty looking autumn colors, So I got this for very little at one of the wonderful shops in town called New to You, which sounds like a collab, doesn't it? It's called New to You, and people rent a space. They've got it all broken up into little spaces, and I actually had a space there for a couple of years. And so anyway, this was in one of the spaces, and I don't remember how much it was, but it wasn't very much. And when I saw it, I went, oh, I love it. This reminds me kind of a scene from, like autumn, obviously, but like, say, Vermont, Massachusetts, maybe Pennsylvania, somewhere where there's Amish life, farm life, not all Amish, obviously, but, lots of wholesome, old-fashioned, and what people see in things, it's what they see, and you might see something different. So I'll start here, because it repeats. It starts here, and I'll stop when it repeats at the end here. So it starts with this, pretty church. We have a church here in Olalla, Washington, called Olalla Bible Church, that is over 100 years old, and this reminds me of it a lot. Now, the Olalla Bible Church started just like this, but now they've added on over the years, and they've got Sunday school and all that kind of classrooms along the side here. And that church has gotten to where it's so old that they're having to raise money to rehab it. It's pretty serious what's going down with it. And, churches don't have the same membership and tithing that they once did. And so they're doing everything that they can think of to try to build up some funds, so otherwise they're not going to be able to use it anymore. Anyway, that's not even the point. And then there's, what is this guy carrying? I don't know. It looks blue. I don't know what that horse and buggy are supposed to be carrying. I guess it's not called a buggy, is it? Wagon. And then you go along here, and there's pumpkins and trees and colorful trees, and it says country store, kind of like the puzzle that The kids and I just did. So there's apples, and it looks like squash, and I don't know what else. And another wagon bringing the huge pumpkins, probably taking them to the state fair. And there's another building over here behind this. What would you call that? I don't know. Somebody's barn. How's that sound? And then they've got their house there and their great big garden. And somebody's selling pumpkin pies. And here's a pumpkin patch. And the trees are already bare. It must be late autumn there, right? Or, you know, in some parts of the country, it's already like that. And there's a really cool covered bridge, which brought me to a memory of probably one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time, Bridges of Madison County. If you've not seen it, it's old. It's, gosh, over 25 years old. And it had Meryl Streep and, I cannot come up with his name, Tommy Lee Jones. No, sorry, not even. It had Meryl Streep and, I'll have to give it some thought. Hold on a minute. I won't give it too much thought. I'll look it up. Okay. Clint Eastwood, not Tommy Lee Jones. Okay, Clint Eastwood and Meryl Streep were in it, and in the movie, you don't really see much of Meryl Streep's husband. Meryl Streep and her husband have children that are just about to fly the nest. They're going for the weekend away to the fair, like they're got horses or pigs or something. Daddy's taking them to the fair, and Mom has done nothing her entire life but take care of these kids and the farm and the animals and the budget. And a drifter comes through town and knocks on her door. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen it. Anyway, you have to really spend some time. It's not a kid's movie at all. It's probably rated R. I mean, not because it's vulgar, but because of the content. And just see what she ends up doing in the end of the movie, and what her children end up doing in the end of the movie. I love that movie. I saw it before I married my husband with a boyfriend. Anyway, and he just, by the way, we're still in contact, and he just got married. 3 weeks ago. Wow, gosh, I get on such rants. Anyway, there's the river or whatever runs under the bridge, and there's somebody's hay and ducks for, getting ready to fly maybe, and a mill, more pumpkins, a well. What is that? Oh, it's a bush. I thought it was like a person. And apples, and we come back to the church. Okay. I know I geek out over stuff like this, and it is, like I said, a favorite, not because of the movie or anything, that went off on a rant there, but because it reminds me of my childhood. I think about it being, my mom and her friends always had stuff like this, they had those glass grapes. They were the size of a plum, and a whole bunch of them on their coffee tables, and they had, the things that you would see, Wi-Fi, stereo, record player things, lots of wood. They all used Pledge, so the houses always smelled like, Pledge and home cooking and stuff like that, because most of them were at home. Okay, anyway, so what I'm going to do with the rest of the day here to show you is I think I'm going to color a page, just because I don't know what else to do. I walked around here starting to do about 12 different things, and I wasn't feeling the love for any of it. I thought, well, I'll make an autumn dessert, but the kids still have cookies and donuts, and one of them brought in 2 giant containers of chocolate-covered peanuts. Not peanuts, chocolate-covered, no chocolate. What are they called? They're called peanut butter stuffed pretzels. You know, they're chunks of pretzel with peanut butter in the middle. One was peanut butter, one was almond butter. So anyway, I'm going to do this page and show it to you. I wanted to show you that I put out a new, it wasn't wrinkled when I started, but I was trying to show you all of it. I'm going to finish this up, and I'm drinking coffee. Let's see, how much have I got left? I really ought to change to water because I've been drinking coffee now for 3 hours. It's 9:25. I got up at 6. Okay, I'll get started on this. See how I do. Okay, I think I'm just going to go with a movie theme here. So I'm getting this colored while I'm thinking. Okay, so Bridges in Madison County, one of my top. And then there's another one, and it's silly because it's a kid's movie. But Practical Magic, and especially this time of year. It does get kind of dark and at the end with the, I don't know, with the witchcraft. I don't know if I want to even call it witchcraft. But anyway, when they're trying to get I'm not even going to say any more about it. It's one of my favorite movies. It's sweet. It's about family, and it's about generational care and generational curses even. And it was actually filmed not far from me. Well, not far. It was filmed in Washington State. It was filmed in a small town called Coupeville. And so I've never been to Coupeville, and I was just thinking it would be so fun if I could grab my daughter and her daughter, and we could go to Coupeville and just run around the town and see what it's like. When they did the filming, you would think that they had filmed it somewhere like Massachusetts, because they gave it that kind of air, you know, lots of water, lots of just it looked like Massachusetts would look in my head to me. You know, I've been to Massachusetts, but it's not been since the 70s. Anyway, we'll have to drive if we go. We will have to drive for probably close to an hour and a half straight up the state of Washington, and then we'll get on a ferry at Port Townsend, and from Port Townsend we will take that ferry to Coupeville, and the ride on the ferry is 25 to 30 minutes, and I can't think of something more fun than that, especially if we do it the first week of October. I'm going to try. And if she won't go with me, I guess I won't go, but I think she should go with me. Even if all we do is go for lunch. I'm going to have to do some more research. But anyway, so Practical Magic is movie number 2. Now I'm going to tell you probably 2 or 3 more movies. And then I hope that if you comment, maybe some of you don't comment, and that's awesome. You know, for whatever reason, you obviously don't have to ever comment. But if you do, and you like movies, I'd like to hear about some of your very favorite, like your top 5 favorite movies of all time. Okay, I'm going to get back to coloring. All right, here's the next one. The next movie that I think is on my top 5 is, there's a pattern here, I guess, of love stories, which Practical Magic was as well. But anyway, it's An Officer and a Gentleman. So they had Richard Gere and Deborah Winger, 1982. So I saw it at the theater here in town that is downtown. It is, back then it was called, I think, the Plaza or something. It has been closed for years, and different people have come in and bought that theater and tried to make it back into a theater, and it just never worked out. It used to be a running joke in town, because it is on the water downtown Port Orchard, that when the tide came in, you had to lift your feet because the bottom toward the screen would get wet, you know, from water rushing in. They used to sell popcorn, you know, like usually in a theater, you go in, you know, and you get your popcorn, and that's, you know, part of the, you know, you could do it. But they had their ticket kiosk, which is a glass opening that opened to the outside. So you didn't go in to buy your ticket. You, of course, didn't do it online back then. You went on the sidewalk in front, got a ticket, and if you wanted popcorn, they'd give it to you there. You'd go in and get drinks. But anyway, people would just, walk around downtown shopping and would stop and get popcorn. And, back then, popcorn was probably $1 or less. But anyway, truly, truly one of my favorite romantic movies. It's about a man, and in this movie it was Richard Gere, who had a hard life. No mother in the picture, raised by an abusive father who was career, sailor in the Navy, and beat up all his life and never treated right. And his father thought he was nothing, so he ends up trying to become a naval officer, and so an officer and a gentleman. And his love interest in the movie is Deborah Winger. And she said years ago, I think it was on David Letterman's show, the talk show, that in the scenes where she's crying, she's obviously going through a lot of emotional turmoil because Richard Gere, the person in the movie who was going to be an officer, did not want a woman by his side. He didn't ever know how to love anyone. And she goes, you would think that I was crying because of all of the emotional of the writing of the story, and he's leaving, and I was hoping that he would ask me to marry him, but I'm crying because he's just an ASS, what, hole. And so that was true. She went on to say that he was not a nice person, not an easy person to be in a movie with, because he didn't bounce ideas off of her with the acting and stuff like that. And in the end, they finally made up, probably 30 years later. But, and got through it. But that was, and Louis Gossett Jr. is in it too. And he's a academy teacher, or not teacher, that's not what they call them. What do they call them? Instructors. Yeah, instructors. And so if you are young enough to have never seen that movie, I believe you would love it. It was also filmed here. It was filmed, in a lot of places in Washington State, but the opening shot where he is riding his motorcycle he's left his father's house and he's going to go to the academy, is right where two of my kids work, right there at that base. Anyway, I wonder what that was. Okay, let's see. In other things, this is how far I have gotten. Oh, I shouldn't have told. Here, Richard Gere, if you know who he is, back in the 80s, he was a huge love interest. And apparently they tried to get John Denver first. John Denver, Rocky Mountain, whatever, the singer. Looked like a little Dutch boy, blonde hair, round glasses. How would that movie have been with John Denver instead of Richard Gere? I believe it would have been incredibly different. I don't think John Denver could have pulled off the mean mugging and do it with reality like Richard Gere did. Okay, now here's what I've done so far. I'm almost done. I just want to, I'm going to do maybe one more movie if I can think of one. Okay, I thought of another one. I think this one is either 4 or 5, and this one is The Blind Side. So it came out it came out in the year 2000, I think, and it has Sandra Bullock in it, and I can't remember who else, but the whole premise is Sandra Bullock is a socialized Southern, married to a powerhouse executive type who, they have a lot of money and everything is always perfect for them. She's kind of bored. She has a big heart in the story. She has a big heart, and she notices at the high school that there's a young man who is very, very good at his heart. He's just, everybody's kind of looks down on him. He doesn't have shoes that fit. He doesn't have a place to live. His mother is apparently a drug addict. she takes him in, and eventually she gets this senior in high school's mama to sign him over so she could help to raise him. And she brings him into her house, and she just tells her husband and her kids to get used to it, and puts him on the couch, and then eventually gives him a bedroom and buys him clothes that fit him, and gets him a driver's license, and gets him all set up for tutoring to get into high school. To get into college and to graduate high school. And her husband actually coaches, I think. I think her husband coaches on the side. I could be wrong. I've seen it like 12 times, but it's been a while. Anyway, in the end, he does, in fact, go ahead and go to the college that there's several that are trying to get him. And what's cool about this is one of the colleges that wanted him was Alabama. And they had the coach from Alabama in the movie, as well as coaches from other colleges, but do cameos. But I didn't recognize them because I only know Alabama, really. Coach, anyway. Let's see. In the end, he, does well. He gets picked up by Pro Ball. And I guess now, and this is based on a true story, by the way. And I guess in the end now, there's some talk that he didn't feel like he got the best end of the deal, and that Sandra Bullock's character, sort of used him a little bit. And I don't know. Obviously, I don't know. But when I was watching the movie, I thought it was the most precious thing I'd ever seen. And I like football, and I like love stories, and this is another love story, somewhat, not like romantic love, but love for your fellow human being. And lots of fun stuff in that movie. And so it's definitely one I've seen over and over and over again. And here's how far I've gotten. Okay, last movie, 1973 maybe, 74. The Way We Were with Barbra Streisand, Robert Redford. So that was like my first grown-up romantic movie, like that. And I have seen it probably 20 times. I used to watch it more often. I haven't seen it now for probably 10 years, but I went to the theater by myself with my $2 or whatever it was to get in back then, dropped off by my mom, and watched the movie. I watched everything Barbra Streisand, and I still would. Which reminds me, A Star is Born, saw it too when I was young, and I thought it was pretty good. I didn't get it until recently when we had Lady Gaga, and I can't remember the dude's name. This is also one of my top favorites. I begged my daughter to watch this movie. It's just like, yeah, I don't really think so. Well, I guess one day she got bored and pulled it up on pay-per-view or streaming or whatever, and she was like, it was the best movie, the one with Lady Gaga. Anyway, that is going to be, I'm not going to tell you about any more movies because they're all romantics apparently. And I'm almost done with this. There we go. I'm done. I got kind of bored with it there at the end and didn't do the background very well, but it's done at least so that you can see I did color a picture. I didn't do Color and Create with us at URock Art, but, I think it's when I was, I don't know, something else was going on here. I can't remember what it was. I was doing something. Anyway, I tried to do a color page for that collab that morning at 6 a.m. But, that was the night I stayed up all night. I was so tired. Anyway, I couldn't. I just didn't have it in me. So here is a picture. It's not the same collab, but here's one that I did. Okay, I used Crayola colored pencils and one pen. I've got, I know I got it from Amazon, but I don't remember the particulars. Just trying to find the writing. Sipa, whatever that is. And so, you know what? I wonder if this is actually supposed to be a very, very dark green. I could see some green in it, but maybe that's just how they make black. And I used it just to do my favorite color is autumn. That is that. I'm going to clean up this mess, put away the dishes because I have not yet done that. And I don't know what I'll do after that. Maybe I'll watch the news. Maybe I won't. I had planned to light this candle and forgot to do that. Okay. Oh, I want to know if you want to, what are your favorite top 5, top 3, top whatever you want to tell about movies? And, a little bit about them, not just a title, but who was in them if you remember, and what year maybe it came out, and just a general topic, however much you want to share. I would love to know, you know a lot about you learn a lot about people by the books they love, the movies they love, the foods they love, how, I don't know, how they see the world almost, like with me, I love a comedy and I love a romance, a romantic comedy, even better. Okay, that's it. I'm telling you, I'm done here. If you have not ever thought to comment, this is your chance. Also, you could subscribe. I'd love that. Take care, everybody, and thanks for watching. And thank you at Tiho Creates. Bye, y'all.